So my last area, Lagos, it's the winter. Man, the wind was insane. I remember we actually have a video on Facebook of this. You look outside and the wind is just throwing everything back and forth. And it's raining super hard. Like you see the puddles just building up everywhere. And so we went out and we actually had an hour walk to get to one of the outer areas to go teach people. And it was insane. Like both of our umbrellas just got ripped. And so by the time we actually got to the area, we were just completely drenched. My first ever meal in Portugal was was chicken feet. I mean, that's not that different, but it was weird to eat because I'm so used to eating with a knife and fork. In Portugal, you just throw the foot in your mouth, take off the skin, and spit the bone out. So that was probably one of the weirdest things I ate. But also, I had squid, octopus, and eel, and that was a different experience. So yeah. I always tell my missionaries this because I don't want them to make the same mistake. There's two. One of them is in Portugal, there's so many words that are very similar, but it's the accent of the word that'll change it completely. So there's the word coco, and there's the word cocó. And so coco is coconut, but cocó is number two, like using the bathroom pretty much. And so one of my areas, I told a member had made us coconut cake, but I told her that her poop cake was very good. So that was one mistake I made. It was super embarrassing. But another mistake I made is in Portugal, the E's at the end. So one of the biggest differences between Portuguese and Brazil is the way they end sentences that end with E or I. So like, for example, in Portugal, if you were to say diligent, you'd say diligente. And then in Brazil, it'd be diligente or diligente. It's a different sound. So they say their E's a little bit more in Brazil than we do, on a different way. And so one of the things in the first vision, when you say, "This is my beloved son," hear him. Hear him in Portuguese is spelled O-U-V-E and then U, which is a direct object defining Jesus Christ. Hear him, hear my son. And so normally you'd pronounce that word ov, u. But because they're together, it's like ovio. It just sounds like what's one, ovio. So in Portugal, when I was learning Portuguese, I was taught that the E doesn't make quite as much sound, so I pronounced it as ovo instead of ovio. And so for my whole first transfer, I was telling you, ovo means egg in Portuguese. So my whole first transfer, every time I taught the first vision and got to that climax of the story, I'd say, "This is my beloved son, egg." And it took until my 6th week. We were teaching a member to try to get referrals. We were teaching a member that, and I did it. And she just started busting up in my face. She's laughing so hard. And I was like, "Sister, why are you making fun of us? We are trying to bear our testimonies." I was super offended, like this greenie, brand new in the mission. And she's like busting up. She walks to her fridge and she's like, "This is why I'm laughing at you. That's what you said." And she pulls out an egg. And I was like, I just looked at my trainer just super angry. I'm like, I've been 6 weeks. But yeah, so that's something I remember. Pronunciation is everything. Well, I learned how to make pumpkin pie from a pumpkin. That was kind of cool. We had a Thanksgiving activity, and I really wanted to throw a party because I was the branch president, and I wanted to throw a party for the branch. So I made a pumpkin pie from an actual pumpkin. So I'm not sure that's the skill you're looking for, but that was kind of fun. There was an area where I began an English class. That's one of the ways they encourage people to find. So I was able to learn how to teach English it was just weird teaching English to people who didn't speak it. So it's kind of cool to be able to do that. So that's kind of a skill. There's two really big things that I learned in my mission that really are something I'm trying to focus on more, even post-mission, that like will define my life forever. And that is that sacrifice brings forth the blessings of heaven. I learned that so much in my mission. Like, the more you're willing to do for someone else, heaven just opens. It's amazing, and you see that in Jesus Christ's life. So definitely that sacrifice brings the blessings of heaven on the earth. And the second thing is, the thing that makes Jesus Christ so unique and so powerful is that he was completely selfless. His love was defined by how selfless he was towards everyone. That's something that I struggle with and I'm trying to imitate in my life. But those are probably the two biggest things that helped me. In Portugal, you're gonna need your coat, but in both winters, I was in the south, which is warmer, so I never used it. So it was a lot more weight. Packing wise, just make sure you get your clothes and your shirts. Make sure you have a lot of good shirts, a lot of good socks, and strong shoes because of the cobblestone in Portugal. Your shoes will get torn apart unless they're nice shoes like Echoes or whatever. Packing wise, don't take a lot of books. Don't take a lot of extra things because I would rather have more space to bring things home than to take with me. Because honestly, just take the things you need. Pack the things you absolutely need, and then you'll acquire things your whole mission. I'm sure you did too.